All right, in this video, we're going to talk about plugins. Now, plugins might not be super relevant for you if you are working in Claude Code by yourself, but if your team, like my team, has adopted Claude Code as the default way of working, which I recommend everyone should, or will get there eventually, you start using Claude Code in a more collaborative fashion, right? So for example, your marketing team or your sales team starts using Claude Code and you built this like amazing skill, right? And you want to be able to easily share that with your team. Well, how do you do that, right? You could probably let's say for example, the skill we created in a couple episodes ago or videos ago, I guess. Let's say we created this skill. You could literally just copy this, right? Copy, and then like paste it into a Slack message or something and send it to your friend, right? But then what if you update something because you found a better way to do it or a more efficient way of doing it? Then you have to run into this issue of having to manually send it to your friend every time, right? It's not very discoverable. So it's difficult to sort of share your skills, your agents, maybe your MCP setup, your hooks, which we'll get into later. MCPs and hooks we haven't covered yet. But plugins are basically a way to package up the specific tool set that you've built and be able to share that with others, right? And vice versa, you can also get plugins from other folks, either on your team or just like in general, and download really good plugins that others have developed already, and you can use it, right? Some are public, some are private. Today we'll focus on a private use case, and then I'll quickly show you how you can download some of the public ones as well. Okay, so let's see. I wrote this markdown file here. We're going to actually take skills that we learned from Git Basics, skills, and agents. Well, we created the skill and the agent in previous videos, and we're going to package those up as plugins. So first things first, what we're going to do is turn this into a Git repository, right? So what we'll do is I'll just ask Claude to create a Git repository for this. So I'm going to say, hey, can you turn this repo into a Git repository and put it in my personal account. So what I'm asking Claude to do is basically turn this into a Git repo and then push it to GitHub so that it's connected. It's initialized and then connected to the remote repo so that anytime I update things in this repo, that's going to be pushed, and I push it, that can be pushed into the cloud. So we'll say yes. Okay. Yes, always create a git ignore, which is always helpful. And then I'll add .env in there. I'm actually going to take out .claude because we might need that. So anything that you put in .gitignore means that it doesn't actually sync to Git. So .env, for example, always holds like your API keys. So it's good practice to not sync that, obviously. So I'll add all of these. Great. Okay, so if I click on this now, I can see that this has been created, right? Which is great. Now what we're going to do is I can see that this is green, which means that this hasn't been committed. So I'm going to say git add and push.claude as well. Now let's turn the account research agent. So when you use the actually skill, then look at skill account research skill. .md. When you use the @ you can reference specific files, and I'm going to say let's turn these into plugins in this repo, and then I'm going to say this code Claude.com docs plugins to understand how to do this. Refer to or how to package agents and skills into a plugin. So it's first reading those files, and then now it's going to turn them into a plugin. And what I'll do is I'll do account research and this agent. I've asked for these two things to turn into a plugin, but I'm not going to turn the skill creator into a plugin so that we can kind of see the difference. And then once we've created these as plugins, what we can do is use them in other projects, which is really cool. So other teammates or you yourself in a different repo can actually refer to these plugins and then use them. Now, on your laptop, it might be easier just to copy and paste the skill or the agent, and you can do it that way. But then again, you get two different copies, right, in two different repos. And so if you update one, you have to manually copy and paste it into the other one. Whereas if you create a plugin, you can more easily update the latest versions, and you can version control because it's synced to Git. So anyways, okay, great. So we've pushed everything already, right? You can see here, it's added the plugin, the agents and the skills, and it's committed, and it's pushed. And so we can install the plugin by doing this right here. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to open up a new repo. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to say, I'm going to start Claude in here. And I'm going to type in /plugin. And I will say marketplaces, go to marketplaces and add marketplace, right? So here it says owner repo, GitHub. And this is the one that you can look at when you push it into your Git. So I'm going to say the workflow co. Let me look at what the other name was. Okay, so that's Claude CC walkthrough Anthropic. Claude CC walkthrough Anthropic. So what I'm doing is I'm telling it the owner organization name, right? / this owner owns this repo, right? And I already have access to this because my Git is synced to my organization, right? And if you don't have access to this, so if you type this in as you're watching this video, you'll probably get some sort of error because you don't have access to my GitHub organization. But everyone on my team does, so they could do this, right? So the workflow code, Claude CC walkthrough Anthropic, if I type enter, cloning repository, marketplace file not found, marketplace JSON. Okay, so this is what it says, and we ran into an error. And I'm going to pause this video, figure it out, and then I will come back. Okay, so for the past little while, I was having issues in terms of figuring out why only one plugin was showing. But I feel really stupid right now because the plugin was formatted to have a skill and an agent. So before, this was just called account research, and then inside the plugin actually had the agent and the skill. And so before, I kept just looking at the plugin, and it said one, and when I click on it, you can't actually, now I can see the different plugins, but when there's only one, Claude Code actually has a bug where it just returns you to discover, and it doesn't show you the skill or the agent. But now you can see these two, right? Because I asked Claude here, where did I say this? Separate out the agent and the skill into two separate plugins in the marketplace. So the whole time I was trying to debug, it had actually worked. It just was that it was under one plugin, and I was just, in my mental model, I just thought it would be two plugins. It was my fault for not being very specific with Claude to say, hey, I want the agent and the skill to Claude Code, on the other hand, was like, well, one's account research agent, another's account research skill. They sound very similar. I'm just going to package them into one account research plugin, which makes sense. Because it doesn't have the context, I'm just doing a dummy walkthrough, right? So, anyways, now you can see WFCO tools, browse plugins, and there's the agent and the account research skill, and I can install for me just in this repo, local scope, and then I have to go back here and browse plugins, and I can install for me local scope again. I'll exit Claude, and I can if I type in like agents, you can see account research agent here, right? And then if you look at skills, you can see what's here, account research right here, right? Yeah, hopefully this was hopefully this taught you about how to package up your agents and skills, and then we'll learn about MCPs and hooks, and those can be packaged up into plugins as well in the marketplaces, so that you can share them with your team. Last thing, you saw me use the plugin, but under Discover, there's a lot of good plugins that you can actually use, and so I definitely recommend that you look at these. These are public open source plugins that you can use like right now. So yeah, hopefully you found this useful, if not entertaining. And as always, let me know if you have any questions.